It's time to say goodbye to the next stage booster set and say hello to a more premium product.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and today we're gonna cover the last big reveals for the next stage extra booster set, but also some interesting first taste of the upcoming Premium Collection 2020 set. So without further ado, there's a lot of interesting things to discuss, so let's jump right into these new reveals and start digging. And speaking of digging, let's start off with the brand new Nectar reveal, as we got their Grade 3 Searcher in the likes of Valkyrie of Reclamation Pet Mini. And this card is almost as what most of us are expecting it to be, as of course it's got the skill Auto Vanguard the Vanguard Circle. When placed from hand, look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal the one Grade 3 card from among them and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and if you put a card into your hand, discard a card from your hand. So the generic search a Grade 3 from the top 5 cards of your deck. But her unique ability to attain 5k power is continuous of Vanguard and Vanguard Circle. During your turn, if you have 2 or more token units, this unit gets power plus 5k. So in my honest opinion, this is most likely one of the more weaker versions of these Grade 3 Searchers, as to attain this 5k power is a lot harder to do in most scenarios than all the other cards that we've seen before. And sure, creating 2 tokens might not be that hard to do, but it's not that very likely to attain this in the early game unless you have a very good opening hand. And in the mid to late game with Asha, this might not also be as easy to do, as Asha sacrifices their own tokens to create this Flower Fairy token, which then would mean that the possibility is there that that's the only token you have left on the field, making this card just an 8k unit. So in that scenario, could be a little bit tricky, but in decks like Ouroboros Dragon, this most likely won't be an issue, and it will buff both decks. Ouroboros Dragon will be more consistent to be able to rewrite to attain those Force 2 markers if you're going for that route. And for Asha, this is actually pretty good to have another Grade 3 Searcher, as now you can write up the VR and have a better consistency to attain the trial deck Grade 3 Asha to the Rigor Circle as well, to power up your field with the infamous double crit, a lot of power playstyle where you overwhelm your opponent right from turn 3 if they're still sitting at Grade 2. So in terms of the Grade 3 searches, I think Pet Mini is more on the weaker side in comparison to all the other Grade 3 searches that we got from the previous Team Dragon's Vanity set, as well as this next stage booster set. But this was the only reveal that we got for the next stage booster set for in actual card terms. They also showcased the new high rarity cards in the SPs, SVR, as well as the new SP packs. But sadly, I don't have good pictures for you to show, so I will not show any pictures in this video, because they had to do the stream on a home setting, and the camera and the glare of the light was a bit too much to actually have a good grasp of how these cards will actually look. There are pictures on Facebook if you are interested in how they look, but basically they are looking at the way that we are expecting them to look. But I speculated that because all 3 SP packs have a shield ticket, and they stated that there are going to be 21 new SPs, that these shield tickets will be unique per SP clan pack. And that is exactly the case, because these shield tickets don't have the image of the shield icon itself on them, they have the clan symbol on them. So if you pull the Gear Chronicle SP pack, you will have the Gear Chronicle clan icon instead of the shield icon. If you have the Neo Nectar one, it has the Neo Nectar clan icon, and for the Royal Paladin, you have of course the Royal Paladin clan icon. And this is actually a pretty nice addition, as it gives more uniqueness to these tickets, so there's a more collectible aspect to them. But because they introduced it in this specific way, I'm inclined to believe that in the upcoming sets with all the other clan SP packs, that those clans most likely will also get their own unique clan shield ticket version. And that in itself then translates that there might be a good support wave coming right after all the already confirmed support wave, as they probably want to give this to all the clans, and that means they need to support those clans very soon to not make this idea run too long in the next wave. So depending on if this is gonna happen or not with the upcoming Kagura Link Joker support wave, if that's the case, then it's very likely that all clans are going to get this with this specific shield ticket with their clan icon. I really like this idea because it gives more flavor to this card and a lot more collectability, and it gives a reason for players to run this shield ticket for a specific version over another than just the common version. So yeah, overall, nice stuff. But Team Tri-Free wasn't the only cards that we got revealed to us, as we're starting to dive into the new Premium Collection 2020 reveals as well. For anybody that hasn't seen the WCC card reveal last weekend, they revealed a brand new Kagura Stride. So let's summarize that card before we go into the new cards that were revealed today as well. So here we have the new Kagura Stride for the Premium Collection, as this is Supreme, Heavenly, Emperor Dragon, Zen, Boss Dragon. And it has one skill, and its skill is act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, turn a card from your G-Zone face up, retire all of your opponent's rear guards, and all of your grade 3s or greater units get power plus 10k until the end of turn. So this is basically the most cheapest form of field destruction. It removes all your opponent's rear guards for free. Yeah, you flip something face up, but that's not a cost, that's actually a resource gain you're acquiring through doing something ideal. And this is actually pretty nice in the fact that it's a free retire field destruction that also retires non-targetable resist units, as it doesn't target those specific units. So it is a good stride for Kagura if they're behind in tempo, or they don't have a good solid stride to go into if they're not really in this position to go for a finisher like Dumjit or Ziegenberg or whatever other stride they have access to in their G-Zone, as most Kagura strides are mainly finishers or pressure cards, but sometimes those strides aren't ideal in your current situation, so having a card like this is a much better option in their toolbox. The only negative point about this card is it only gives 10k power to grade 3 or greater units, so sure, it gives them self power, but as far as I'm aware, you don't really call a lot of grade 3s to the rearguard circle to empower them. Sure, you can call the V-Era Overlord that can also sold as one to give another 10k, so you have a 33k beater, but I don't think that's an ideal play. But with that in mind, we're going to see a new support wave with Overlord, the Cross, and Dragonic Blade Master. And most primarily, the latter one, if that is gonna function similar to the original Blade Master, then it's most likely it's gonna generate a Vision Token. And if that card has a Vision Token creation skill on Ride or on Place, then that could really synergize well with this stride, as the Vision Token is a grade 3 that has drive checks on the rearguard. So if we can create that token and then immediately stride into this thing, that Vision Token would then be a 23k attacker with Twin Drive on the rearguard circle, which is a pretty good pressure tool against your opponent. So that's could be a really good combination if that's the case. That's pure speculation, we don't know so far. For now, this card is not amazing. It basically fulfills a niche role for Kagura in specific situations where their finisher stride or their pressure strides aren't gonna do the job. This basically allows them to have another tool in their G-Zone that usually Kagura hasn't access to. So now they have a good retire option, but it probably won't make the clan stronger or better in general, as if you go into this stride, you're not pressuring this specific turn. So if you're up against a deck that can rebuild their field or can just power through a field retire or doesn't really care for rearguards, then this card does absolutely zero. So depending on the situation, this card is just an extra option, and it at least gives Kagura another way to do things, but it probably won't make them a lot stronger than you typically saw in the previous Premium Collection stride, where the actual good strides make the clans busted or insanely strong. This is basically another option for the clan, which is nice. It's not a bad card, but it won't make the clan insanely powerful at the same time. But from a stride, we go into one of the new Cray Elemental cards, because this set was going to introduce a lot of new Cray Elemental cards, and those Cray Elemental together would apparently build a deck which will redefine in some capacity how you approach Vanguard or how we play Vanguard. So that was the interesting information that was given to us once they start giving information about this specific set. And we now got the first two Cray Elementals revealed to us. And first off, we have this grade 1 Light Elemental Makira. And its skill is absolutely zero. It's basically the grade 1 vanilla with 15k shield. However, there is a small twist to this card. because all the 15k shield grade 1 vanillas are 7k power. This little buddy is an 8k power. So you're not sacrificing power for the extra shield gain. Now we have the same base power but a little bit more shield. So we trade off a skill for 5k more shield. Is that good? Probably not. But that might actually not be the case if we take a look at the new Cray Elemental strat, which is also the cover card of this new set. As here we have the brand new Cray Elemental GR of the new Premium Collection 2020 set that is Storm Elemental Cyclonette. And Cyclonette's abilities are very interesting, as its first skill is continuous on Vanguard Circle and G-Zone. During your turn, if this card is face up, all of your units with no continuous act or auto abilities get power plus 5k. So all of your pure vanilla cards will gain an additional 5k for each copy of this card face up on the field. So if it's on your Vanguard Circle or your G-Zone, it will give the 5k power passively. And this will stack. So if you have all 4 copies of this card face up in your G-Zone or Vanguard Circle combined, then that's an additional 20k power to your vanilla cards. And keep in mind, it's stage units, so it will also power up triggers of the V series that are vanilla or the OG triggers. But you probably, if you run vanilla triggers, you're gonna pick the V era triggers because of obvious reasons. So it also empowers those triggers. But it also has a second ability, and that's auto on Vanguard Circle. When you drive check reveals a normal unit with no continuous act or auto abilities, during the battle this unit attack, stand one of your rear guards. So this basically allows you to restand rear guards for free if you drive check a vanilla card. But it states normal unit. So if you drive check a vanilla trigger, that won't do, as that's a trigger unit, not a normal unit. So basically this new build for the Cray Elemental, it looks to be that it's completely consistent of vanilla cards with higher stats than usual, and you allow them to give an incredible amount of power increase, but at the same time have a potential to restand your units. There are some interesting things about this card, as the fact that it's a Cray Elemental, so we can experiment with all the clans and try to break this card to some capacity. There are already players out there that to some extent successfully are breaking this card. On Twitter, can you say, gee, already basically cracked this card to be the best Neo Nectar support card they could ever wish for, because tokens are vanilla cards. The original 5k tokens don't have any skill printed on the card itself. No continuous, no act, no auto. Meaning if you go into the Katrina stride, you flip a card with Katrina, so you flip face up this card, making all your tokens an extra 5k power. So your tokens become 10k attackers and 10k boosters beside the Katrina effect. And you can do this repeatedly, making the tokens even stronger and stronger and stronger. And this basically is the best buddy for Katrina to actively make your token fields even more powerful. But another addition to this card is that the restand ability only requires you to drive check a normal unit. You don't have to restand a normal unit. Meaning, if you have a specific build that can get away with running a excessive amount of vanilla cards to up the consistency of this card, but you have a very powerful rearguard unit, and with the new V era cards, we get a lot more powerful rearguard abilities because stand triggers aren't the thing. With this ability, we might be able to restand those specific rearguards with an insanely powerful effect and get a double value out of that effect itself. And I'm not sure which clan can abuse it to some extent. A different fight already made the argument on Twitter that this thing could basically be ideal with the old Laurel, because the old Laurel could rest 4 units if your Vanguard hits and restand the Vanguard. So if you restand the Vanguard, you rest 4, then you attack once again with the Vanguard, and because you're running so much vanilla cards, you most likely will restand 3 units. So you can restand 3 units once again. And if you had a full field, that means you can then reuse Laurel again if it could hit again, meaning you can resend your Vanguard again and get another attack off, and you could basically cheese a lot of attacks out of this way with your Vanguard. And at the same time, you're plussing like crazy as you keep drive checking cards. Is that viable? Probably not, because it means that you need to hit with the Vanguard and you need to also always hit vanilla normal units. So if you hit a trigger, you're not really that happy because it means you cannot resend your Vanguard anymore. But these type of cheesy interaction and effects are probably gonna be in the minds of a lot of players as they're trying to speculate with this card to try to break it. And depending on the rest of the Cray Elemental support, this could actually be pretty good. We might get Cray Elementals that are just pure vanillas, or we could get Cray Elementals that can remove effects of cards, or just make them disappear for a specific moment in the game. They could go that route depending on how they want to word it. So there are a lot of interesting takes they can to incorporate with this specific new stride and make the deck really interesting. It's a really weird and gimmicky stride just on the surface, but once you start dissecting this card and the potential with all the new Cray Elementals coming out, there is a lot of interesting possibilities about this card. And yeah, we already know it's gonna make Nectar even better than it already is. I mean, as if they needed this, but the prospect of other clans being able to abuse this is really fun and really interesting, to say the least. So yeah, cannot wait for the rest of the support wave. But that's basically everything for today. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the new clan shield ticket that we're probably going to get for a lot of clans. At least I'm hoping that's the case. And of course, all the new cards for the premium collection strides that we got for Kagura, the new Cray Elemental 8K, and there's not really a lot to talk about that one, but mainly the new Cray Elemental stride that could be the center storm, or you could say the eye of the cyclone for a lot of memes. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts and opinions. As always, this video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, then head over to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Timeleap, and I see you guys in the next one.